Keith, do your absolute best to stay still. I'm going to send it. Oh. And that's the speed limit. Ni hao. And if you don't speak Chinese, that means hello. Hi guys, I'm Bongani. Welcome back to SANTEFIRE Motoring. And today you join us at the launch of BYD launching 3 new cars. The Shark 6, which is a bakkie, believe it or not, as well as the Sea Lion 6 and the Sea Lion 7. Now what's interesting about all these 3 cars is that all of them have some component of electrification. The Sea Lion 7 is a complete EV, while as the other 2 are plug-in hybrids. I'm interested to see how these cars match up against the existing competition. I want to drive them, get to know them, and let you know everything there is to know. Stay tuned. And if you haven't, please subscribe. Okay, so I am getting rained on, but it shouldn't be too much of a problem. There is a car over here, just watch out, watch your step here, that I do want to show you, right? Now, this is the Shark 6. It is a plug-in hybrid bakkie. What's interesting about it is that, I mean, listen, if you know South Africa, you know that we are bakkie territory. So for them to launch this car and in our market with the confidence that it's going to sell means it's probably a good thing. There's a car behind you, just come this side. So I do want to show you around. Let's come get in the interior. Yeah, cool. Okay, so we managed to steal a few seconds with the all-new Shark 6, right? And I must admit, as far as bakkies are concerned, these guys are definitely making a name for themselves. As it stands over here, everything looks and feels quite solid. Everything's rigid, nothing shakes or anything like that. But have a look at this infotainment screen. It feels like, you know, in most cars nowadays, the center of attention is the infotainment screen, but BYD has taken that and they shove steroids into it because look at this thing, right? I'm not sure what the dimensions are. We'll overlay that, but look at this cool feature it has, huh? If you don't want it in portrait mode, you can have it in landscape mode. It seems to be quite responsive, and then this is what you use to just navigate your way around. You can get to your seats. There's some seat ventilation and heating. This is where you get your climate control functionality, as well as some vehicle settings over here. You get some sturdy grab handles, and have a look at your gear lever. I quite like this a bit. It feels so rugged, so manly, so to speak. I don't know if it's still safe to say that in this day and age, but you also get some wireless charging, some red trim around your air conditioning, as well as some red contrast stitching. I like the seating positions. You know what, before we get there, have a look at the seats. These are so girthy, they're quite big. I like the fact that you also get some contrast stitching over there as well, with some BYD embroidery in there, and quite a reasonable amount of storage space in there. You could get lost in there if you're small enough, right? And then check these out. These are some tactile switches that you have for your hazards, your start-stop button over here, as well as opening and closing your tailgate. Does that mean you can have it done automatically? I'm not sure. As well as your automatic brake hold. Volume knobs over there, and then the steering wheel itself feels quite good. I like the fact that they didn't do touch capacitive buttons, right? They actually have physical buttons on the steering wheel itself with some cruise control functionality. And notice this, you also get some sort of rotary dials here at the bottom to control the mode as well as the terrain you're in. But there's a gap in the steering wheel where you can put your fingers through. How nice is that? I also have a nice little screen over here giving me some driver information, and because it is a plug-in hybrid, there is some battery information. It's telling us we're charging right now and we're at 78%. Overall, I like the way this looks. It feels good, and man, from first impressions, mind you, we haven't driven this car yet. It looks good, it feels good. I'll let you guys know how much it costs and everything else towards the end of the video. But if you haven't subscribed, do me a favor, subscribe, stay cheap. So here's something interesting. I've got the spec sheet open over here, and this BYD Shark 6 has a claimed max power and torque figure of 321 kilowatts and 650 Newton meters of torque, which is ridiculous considering that it is a bakkie at the end of the day. And it does that because, well, it is a plug-in hybrid. And you'll notice if you come around to the back over here that this one is currently charging. How often do you see that in a bakkie? I'm interested to see how well these sell, but you do get quite a lot of cool technology. The screen that I just showed you now is a 15.6-inch display, and it's able to rotate from landscape to portrait. But we'll get back to the interior in just a second. Let me know how you feel about the exterior. Looking at it right now, I think, it's a bold design. I know that looks subjective, so I'm not going to comment too much on that. But you get this huge BYD logo spanning across the front, as well as these C-shaped lights around the end. And I wonder if these light up as well. I believe they do, but we'll have to turn the car on in order to figure that out. It definitely has a lot of presence. Looking at it right now, it looks like, it has the ability to sort of fill the road, if you will. But overall, I quite like it. It is a sturdy car, feels firm, and the only thing left for us to do is to drive it and actually get a proper play with the interior. But we'll check it out in just a second. Stay tuned. So I must admit that this is a bit of an interesting experience for me. Growing up, I've always wanted to do this with cars. And when I was a youngin' coming up, I was of the firm faith that cars were losing their souls because they were becoming electrified. So for me to be at the launch of an EV bakkie in South Africa is a bit of a jarring experience. I mean, South Africa is bakkie territory. So this is it's an eye-opening experience. With that said, we are inside the BYD Shark 6. This is a plug-in hybrid, and the guy in the Ranger next to me just pulled out his camera because I don't think he can believe what he's looking at too. First impressions, it's very comfortable. It is a very quiet and calm ride inside here, and that's just, off the rip. I do like the fact that they've capitalized on the fact that, they've got good technology in this car. I mean, you get the usual creature comforts. I've got 360 cameras all around the car, and that's particularly useful because this is a big car. I got cameras on the left, the right, and I'm able to get a bird's eye view of things. I like the fact that I've also got a nice heads-up display giving me the max speed that I'm supposed to be traveling in, as well as some information about the steering, lane assist, and that sort of stuff. So give me a second while we just head out here. Now, I'll admit, it feels like we're cheating a little bit when you drive a bakkie, but you don't actually take it off-road. I think that's going to come in once we get the car as a press vehicle. Then we'll be able to properly ring it and put it through its paces. Speaking of paces, this thing does 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 5.4 seconds. It's a bakkie, and I'm going to show you. Keith, do your absolute best to stay still. I'm going to send it. Oh. And that's the speed limit, just like that. Good job, dude. No, you did a great job. So I was able to get there that quickly because I've got some cool functionality on the steering wheel that lets me switch between the modes. That was the sport mode, and if I go back to the eco mode, it actually kicks on the engine when you go into sport mode. And I think after you've driven after a certain amount of time, it'll go back to EV mode only. But listen, dude, on these very well paved roads, this car does an incredible job of just handling it very well. It's a comfortable vehicle. I'm gonna go back and do that just one more time to make Keith's life a little bit difficult, okay? Just even in eco, it does a good job, hey? Even in eco, it does a good job. What I appreciate, like I said earlier, is the fact that you've got all these sensors around the car, as well as some cameras to help you navigate, because it is a big car. I made a U-turn here not too long ago, and you've got some decent, turning circle. I want to feel what sort of like the steering input gives you. And from where I'm sitting, you're not going to be doing too much dynamic driving, right? And even though you're not doing too much dynamic driving, you still do get some really solid steering feedback. Let's see the turning circle now. That's impressive, I must admit. We're going to do one last launch. And if this is what the bakkie feels like, I'm interested to see what the performance-focused BYD Sea Lion 7 feels like. And I'm intentionally not going to slow down too much just to feel. Handles the bumps pretty decently too, you would say that, right? I mean, if you're driving somewhere like Brakpan, then you're going to be used to handling bumps like that. But from first impressions, they're doing a very decent job. The cabin feels very insulated. It's not loud. I'm not getting road noise It is raining outside. I'm not getting too much of that as well. And overall, it is a comfortable place to be. I can very easily see myself doing hundreds of kilometers in this. The seats that I'm in are both heated and ventilated, which is particularly cool considering that South Africa gets quite warm. And here I am now getting back. Oh, that's the. All right, cool. I'm gonna quickly jump out. But listen, first impressions are quite cool so far. I'm gonna hop into the passenger seat or the back seat just to get an idea of what it drives like. We can make it. Nah, bro, you can't record me. This is probably gonna be B-roll. I don't know. Ni hao once again, but this time around we're not as happy or jolly because the weather's just been terrible to us. It's so unfortunate. We haven't been able to properly get a feel of these cars. We did drive the Shark 6. That's what you saw on camera just now. And listen, first impressions last forever, and I think they did quite a solid job with the car. Retails for about 959,000 Rand, and it's, you know, the first hybrid bakkie that I've driven, but actually the most comfortable bakkie I've been in. Arguably one of the more comfortable cars I've driven. So I'll give them that, you know. There are a few things that I want to get into and play with, and I think, you know, when we get the car on test later on in the year, I'll be able to give you a better idea of exactly what it is or how it feels to live with it. There are two other cars on launch today. The BYD Sea Lion 6, which is a plug-in hybrid, and then the BYD Sea Lion 7, which is all electric. Both of these cars have some very interesting offerings, and they're sort of targeted towards the kind of consumer who has a small family, who's looking for something that's a bit sleek, that's a bit stylish, and just blends into the city life quite well. They do very well economically, so the range is actually quite decent across the board in these cars. And being plug-in hybrid EVs, depending on which one you get, you do get an interesting range of comfortable features that you can play around with. I think as time goes by, we'll get you guys a proper review of these cars. We'll get in them. We'll do our road trips. We'll do the usual stuff. But until then, please enjoy the footage that we put together for you. We're about to head inside. They're going to give us all the product information, the detailed breakdown of what these cars are, what they do, how much they go for. And then we'll just overlay that information on the video for you guys to watch. If you haven't subscribed, please do me a favor and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It gives us the opportunity to come to more events like this, to get even more exciting cars, to give you even more exciting content. And listen, I'm not going to get on my knees and beg, but I'm joking. But yeah, stay tuned, guys.
Yes, if anyone joined this event 2 years ago, we launched BYD brand, also in Marriott Hotel. At that time, I drink wine, red wine. I think this is the best wine in the world. And then, as an exchange, I drink your wine, I bring you a BEV, several models BEV. And today, why I changed to beer? First, thanks to Sam. Sam asked me to drink beer. I said, okay. I want some change. So today, I also bring you the new technology, plug-in hybrid, super plug-in hybrid. But this is not my job to introduce the car, to Steve.